Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai kid, and I am joined once again by Mr. Ken Cole. How are you doing today, Ken?
Drew, I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here with you and all of your viewers to talk about all these interesting things going on. Anything to do with Cobra Kai. It's so much fun to talk with you about it.
Always, always. We love talking about Cobra Kai, and for those of you who may or may not know, Ken and I did a stream on Tuesday, just a couple days ago, talking about the craziness of Cobra Kai season 6 right now, with writer strikes and production delays or not delays. We got a lot going on. So if you haven't checked out that stream, you should go check that out. That was a great stream. But for those of you who have no idea what's happening, we're going to refresh you and let you know everything, because afterwards, after we refresh all the stuff that's happened these past couple days, Ken, we have some new info. You found something that you want to share, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's a really great article that I think if anyone has questions and they're wondering what's going on, we'll read it together and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. So I think we should refresh the 130 people here. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Leave a like if you're enjoying the stream, and comment below, and we'll be looking at your comments. And we're really happy to have you all here. So, but before we do that, 80s Everything Brew. It's 80s Everything Brew's birthday. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Have a great day. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone
Cinco
out there.
de Mayo.
And also happy Revenge of the
5th. Revenge of the 5th. I saw someone posting like, why is it Revenge of the 5th when it could have been Revenge of the 6th, which sounds more like Sith. I don't know. It was just a silly thought, but yeah, I love it. Revenge of the 5th. It's great.
I think there is a different one for 6, but I'm not sure which one. I don't know. There's like something, like everyone has something for every day. I don't know. It's funny, but oh yeah, Revenge of the 6th. I guess maybe because the day after, it's like
right.
Keep the celebration going, you know?
Yep.
All right. So let's see what we got here. Here it is. John Hurwitz. This is a Twitter post that he made back on May 2nd, the anniversary of Cobra Kai. I do have to say something. When I was screenshotting this, I did notice something. You see what it says at the bottom?
From Earth.
From Earth. Has it ever done that before?
I don't know. It's like, is Elon Musk? I mean, I know he's into SpaceX and space exploration, but like,
that's what I was thinking. Like, what? This is have you guys seen this before? Literally on the bottom, it says "from Earth." I mean, where else would it be from? Like Mars or something? I don't know. I found that funny.
That's great.
Elon. All right, so basically, John made this post retweeting from the writers' room squad photo, and he basically said, "We hate to strike, but if we must, we strike hard. Pencils down in the Cobra Kai's writers' room. No writers on set. These aren't fun times, but it's unfortunately necessary. The moment a fair deal is in place, we'll get back to kicking ass. In the meantime, sending strength and support to the negotiating committee. You got this." So, Ken, as we know, the writer's strike is going on right now, and I have been seeing a lot of people on the streets with their signs protesting. What have you been seeing recently from the strike?
I've been seeing a lot of the same things. Like people, there are picket lines everywhere. There are picket lines, in front of the major studio lots. A lot of them not only include writers, but also other industry people, including actors, famous actors, that are walking in solidarity with the Writers Guild strikers. So it's definitely a huge industry-wide event, huge effects. I know that the Screen Actors Guild and Directors Guild have said that they're in solidarity with the Writers Guild on this. So it's really a huge event in the entertainment industry. Definitely.
Yeah. So do they go outside like the studios, like where like the companies are, and do these protests? Where are they doing them?
Yeah, they're like, you know, you have like all the studio, you have like, you know, Paramount and Disney and Warner's and Sony, you know, down in
which is
Culver
Cobra
City,
Kai.
which is Cobra Kai, right? And by the way, a lot of great shows are from Sony as well, and stuff all in all different networks are produced there at Sony. But yes, Sony is the home of Cobra Kai. So people are protesting, and while these protests are taking place, and all these writers are not working, they're not allowed to work at all. There are negotiations ongoing between the Writers Guild and the group that represents the studios.
A question I just thought of are like, who leads the Writers Guild? Is it actual writers, or do they have people specifically that just lead it, but they're not writers themselves? Like, who makes these negotiations?
I think everyone, gosh, I don't know for sure, but when you get to these unions, the people in the unions who are members of the unions, like a writers union, had to have been a writer or are working writers. So, you know, once you join a union, you know, maybe over time, seniority, you can take an active role in unions. So really, I would think, don't quote me on this, but almost everyone in charge of the writers union is a writer in some capacity.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they might hire negotiators or lawyers or that kind of thing. But as far as like running the actual union, probably all writers.
Yeah. So I know you have a lot more information that you found. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that too. But
yes,
we also we want to because the big question, I mean, this whole situation is crazy and it's affecting a lot of shows, but we're here for Cobra Kai.
Right.
So basically, how is this affecting Cobra Kai season 6? Well, from John's post, no writers on set, according to him, and also pencils down, meaning scripts aren't being written. However, we have this post from Frank Helmer, who's actually the costume designer on Cobra Kai, who says, "Welcome to shoot day 1 with all of the costumes." We also have, let me pull it up. So we got that. And we also, that's not it. We also have the slate for Cobra Kai season 6. So
yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, like the slate is basically the thing that they like, you know, they say like Mark, they read the scene in the episode and they like clap it and then they say action. Really cool. Like, I mean, first off, not only is it season 6, but like, I mean, look at that snake, right? Like, what did you think when you saw that? I mean, that's pretty sick. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's like it hit me. It's, you know, it's not boring. It's like a really fun logo. It's like I don't know, it's like light heat emanating from that slate. It's great.
Yeah. And they're on grass, maybe the Miyagi-Do dojo. I know that's a bit of a stretch. There's grass everywhere.
Right.
But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, lots of interesting stuff. Like you can look in there and you can see, oh, they're working on episode 601. So that means usually how the nomenclature is like season 6 episodes will be like 600 something. So 601 means episode 1 in season 6. And then you can see in the scene, it says 601-13-C. So this would be scene 13 in the script. So, and you can see down lots of things, like they even have the frame rate. They have the setting, or I'm sorry, the time of day of the scene. It's early morning. So we can kind of, and you know, they talk about the director, Joel, and whoever's the DP who's working camera. So, and this is kind of a cool thing if you're interested in the film industry, because all of this is done, you know, not only for sound sync, but also the slate gives people in the edit room the knowledge to know what the scene is, where it should go, you know, what shot is this? And so it's much easier to organize later. And yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as we know from John's post, we don't have any writers on set, but for those of you guys who don't know who Joel Novoa is, I got a list here of list here of all the episodes he's directed. So season 4, he directed 2 episodes. Match Point, Kick Sketch Chicks, 2 great episodes. And season 5, Long Long Way from Home, the first episode. Ouroboros, Bad Eggs, and Head of the Snake, which was the finale of season 5, which was, I mean, that was absolutely incredible. So
he's good. He's good.
He's really good. So at least we know that the first episode is in good directing hands. And it'll be interesting to see. Now, my question to you is, because John, Josh, and Hayden are not just writers, but they're directors. So if they're not on set, do you think the directing, like who was supposed to direct each episode, was changed because of this strike? Maybe they were supposed to direct episode 1, maybe they were supposed to direct episode 2, and now they might not. Who knows? They might not even be directing the first half of this whole season, depending on how long this strike goes, right?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. And, you know, we'll get into this, especially when we get into this article, and it talks about the complications of crew members who are part of the Writers Guild right now and what they can and can't do. And that would be a very tricky situation for them, because they can't perform any writing duties. Producers and directors, when you're on set, can do things. They can perform writing duties. They can work with the actors. They can change lines. Anyone who's part of the Writers Guild cannot do that now. So you're right. They might not have been able to direct these episodes and have to give them over to people who are not in the Writers Guild. Yeah.
And I do want to bring this comment up from one of my favorite commenters, Yaya, with the Pepto emoji. Whoever runs this account, I'm a big fan. So I do want to address this, because here is the only problem with this. Like, so Yaya says, delays don't bother me this time around because I know that once the show is over, it's over. And I completely understand, Yaya. I'm with you. I am also the type of person who, since season 6 is the last season, it's like, yeah, let's take our time with it, you know, because once we get it, it's done. However, the issue is it's not that there's just a delay, but as Ken and I were mentioning, because there are no writers available and because of everything that's going on with this strike, it is going to have effects on the actual production. So it's not just like there's a delay, because technically, in a way, they're filming. So I guess they're not delaying anything, but if the strike continues to go on, it might delay production. And also, if John, Josh, and Hayden aren't there, and that's, you know, that wasn't the plan, then that is going to have an effect on it. And especially for the final season. I mean, what do you think? I mean, like, I feel for them, because it's like, on one hand, I get, you know, obviously you got to speak on for what's right. But I mean, they must be, do you think they're gutted that, like, this final season, it's their baby. It's their baby. It's like giving your baby away for like their big birthday. I don't know.
Yeah. This has to be so tough, because, you know, we saw their letter to the fans. They've been so great with fans this whole time. They've communicated with all of us, and they released that amazing letter talking about how season 6 was going to be the final season. They were looking forward to it. This is what they wanted. And this has to be very frustrating right now that they're kind of caught. You know, I mean, I guess it's politics, but it's also negotiations for fair compensation for the writers. And, you know, they want to get compensated for their work, and they want their team. You know, we saw that team in that tweet from John Hurwitz. All those writers there, amazingly talented, and they deserve to get compensated for the great work they do. When we talked about this last time, one of the main reasons we love Cobra Kai is the writing, you know, and it's got to be tough. But remember, it's not just tough for them. It's tough across the entire industry. Think of, like, all these, you know, you're talking about the babies, like all these people having their special babies, all across the industry, all these shows, a lot of them stop production already. Like, they can't continue.
Yeah.
And And now we're also in a position where some shows are, and we can get to this later, are being mandated by the studios to continue production, even though the writers aren't involved and they're not quite ready. And so you get into this really, because the studios, they want their product, they want what they paid for, regardless if there's a strike or not. So it's really a difficult situation. And on top of that, of course, everyone who's striking isn't getting paid for their work. They can't work. So it's almost like you know, have a job, like all of you watching, if you have a job and, you know, you can't work, and that's okay, I guess. It means you can go picket and hopefully you get more stuff. But at the same time, it's tough because you're not getting paid. Like, you need to pay the bills. And so it's really a tough time for everyone.
Yeah. I thought of an analogy to, you know, to express what it must feel like for John, Josh, and Hayden. Because that's the thing. I feel for them because, like, yes, it is the final season. So it's like, this must be so important to them. It's like Cobra Kai's, you know, let's stick with the baby analogy. Cobra Kai is their baby, you know,
Right.
For let's say, I mean, we could say 5 years. We could say 5 years, but technically maybe we could even say like 10 years or 15 years, because they've had this idea for, I mean, I think they've had this idea since like college. I think in college they've talked about, like, what if the Karate Kid came back? So let's say like 15 years, you know, their baby, like, you know, they're taking all this care of this baby. They're putting their heart and soul into taking care of their child. And now it's finally time. The child's about to get married, and you got to walk them down the aisle. This is it. This is it. It's saying goodbye to that stage. And it's like, you can't even walk them down the aisle and give them away. It's like John, Josh, and Hayden can't even give that one final season. You kind of got that one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big
It's great.
deal, right? It's like they you know, they've put so much work into this. And I mean, since season 1 or since season 2, they've been like, oh, that final season. And like, just imagine, you know, as they're fans. What if like episode 1 has like the most insane scene ever, and it's like, dang it, we don't even get to be on set for that. Like, it's like, hey, Joel, send us a picture, send us a video. Like, you know, I feel bad because, I mean, like, the creators not being on set. Wow, what the heck is going on? As the title of the stream says, what is going on? That's nuts.
That it is nuts,
but it's crazy to me that, yeah.
So from a production standpoint, I think that's one good thing, and we're going to talk all about this today. But it's definitely not. This isn't a normal situation. You know, it's not. Even though production's going forward, this isn't a normal situation, really, across the entire industry. And I don't know. So Drew, like, I've seen like a lot of discussion about this, and kind of people going back and forth on, you know, what are the impacts? It's not that bad. It's really bad. And I don't know. Should we kind of go through like the different possibilities?
Yeah, I think we should. It's very important. I do want to say, you know, that you know, Ken and I aren't saying, oh yeah, this is exactly what's going on here. We know everything. We are basically, I mean, we're fans and we're making our best assumptions based off of the information we're provided. So anything that we come up with is basically from what we've seen, what we've heard. And we're just sharing that with you guys. So, you know, you're going to have a lot of different opinions on this matter, but until like there's solid confirmation about the situation, everything right now is just opinions and speculation. There's no clear cut facts. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, And I think what we're going to try to do today is work off of like, right, what, as you said, what we know, because there are certain things that we absolutely know,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and so we're going to go to those, and hopefully our speculations are really grounded in that. So, you know, you guys watching will be able to make a decision about what you think by watching this, and we'll throw out some ideas of what might be happening with the show. But hey, Drew, I was wondering, is there a way you could pull up John Hurwitz's tweet again?
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna do that right now. And yeah, as Ken just said, like, you know, there is some stuff that is factually true. And for example, as John says here in his tweet, there's no writers on set. That's coming from John Hurwitz himself. So we know that. But then there's other things as for is production being affected? When we say that, that comes more that subject is more speculation because we're not in production. We haven't gotten show Omada Duena, Miguel Diaz from Cobra Kai coming out and saying like, yeah, like production is just not the same. Production's like going slow. Production is different. We haven't gotten any of that. So when things are facts, we'll tell you guys, and when things are speculation, that's us also just speculating. So here we got the tweet.
Right. Okay, we got the tweet. Okay, so we talked, Drew, last time about how John Hurwitz is like a genius writer, you know, and that this is like a perfectly crafted tweet. But here are the key things if we want to sort of figure out from the tweet everything that's going on. And he says, you know, we hate to strike, but if we must, we strike hard. Okay, so again, he is striking. And by implication, everyone down in the picture is striking, which would include Josh and Hayden and all the writers. Pencils down in the Cobra Kai writers' room. Okay, so that means this is a common phrase, pencils down. No writers are working right now. Not at all. No writers on set. Okay. And as you said, Drew, that means there's a set. That means there's a production going on.
Yes.
There's a set. They haven't halted the production as of right now. And he says, these aren't fun times, but unfortunately necessary. Okay. So, you know, we talked about the hard times just now, how it's a difficult time for writers. Then he says, the moment a fair deal is in place, we'll get back to kicking ass. Okay. So this is also a counterpoint to like, okay, production's going on. That's great. But this phrase, at least to me, Drew, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah. To
me means that really John and everyone there in that photo is not currently kicking ass. they're not able to because of the strike.
Yeah.
And so because he's saying once we have a fair deal in place, we'll get back to kicking ass. So to me, this means that John, Josh, and Hayden, they might be able to be involved somehow, but they are not going to be involved, as you said, in a way that is normal or the way they would want to be involved. And then he says, in the meantime, sending strength and support to the negotiating committee. You got this. Okay. So I don't know, Drew, what do you think looking at that again?
I think that was a great breakdown of his whole message. And as you said, John is a very terrific writer. If you guys have questions based off of this tweet, like, well, what does he mean? When are they going to return? That's the point. He's aware of these questions that he's not answering. He had to put out a message. He had to let people know. But the way he says it, yeah, the moment a fair deal is in place, we'll get back to kicking ass. Yeah, it implies they're not. It's just hard for me to believe. Like, do you think okay, other than striking, right? Other than striking, what do you think they're doing? Are the big three just chilling out? Like, they can't be. I mean, their show is filming. Like, are they like constantly calling Joel and their script supervisor to say like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's the food? Like,
you know, that's great. And I mentioned this article I found that was just published like 2 hours ago in Variety.
Mm,
It will step through that and it goes over all of that because again, guys, this isn't specifically Cobra Kai. This is the whole industry.
mm.
They're all going through this right now. Every show that's in production right now has some kind of impact. And really, as far as what the showrunners can and can't do and the complications of that, that's not specific to Cobra Kai. So by looking at the industry as a whole and what other shows are doing, maybe we can kind of figure out what's going on with Cobra Kai.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. So you have the article. Do you want to pull that up?
Yes. Let me do that.
This is interesting. I've not read this. Did you read the whole thing? Did you skim it?
I've read the whole thing. So
Okay.
it's not short, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready for me to pull it up. I got it right here.
Okay, you got it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ready.
All right. Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I don't know if everyone can see it. Let me see if I can maybe I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if this helps or not.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, guys. So this is Variety, and what Variety is they're a trade publication. So that means they're a newspaper, an online site with a whole team of journalists that cover the entertainment industry. And along with Hollywood Reporter and more recently Deadline, they are like the top organization that covers the TV film industry. They've been around forever. So this isn't just like some like, it's not like, oh, Variety is some blog where someone's writing about. No, this is like journalists very plugged into the situation right now. So they're telling us what's happening. So the title of it is Pens Down, What Writers Not Working Really Means for the Shows in Production. Whoa, Drew, that's like exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
This is the stuff we need to know. I'm curious what they gotta say.
Exactly. So as we're reading through this, Drew, just jump in any time. And if you have thoughts about, and everyone in the comments too, if you have thoughts about how this stuff might apply to Cobra Kai, we can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's go. It's published today, just a few hours ago. And we'll start. And they'll have to do with lots of productions that you may or may not know. We start. When AC Bradley was hired to write on 2022's Disney Plus series Ms. Marvel, part of her job entailed going to set every day to help with rewriting scenes on the fly while the show is being filmed. Quote, it was a mixture of everything from wanting to add new characters into the show to needing to change things because of location, Bradley tells Variety. Just one example, the day the production was set to shoot a chase sequence at a Marriott hotel, she helped to add a beat where the chase entered the kitchen because it was nearby. Why not use what you have, right? And that's a case of the location inspiring a line of dialogue or a scene or something like that.
I would like to add something if that's cool.
Yes.
So that actually just reminded me of a story that I think it was on my first interview with the Cobra Kai creators back in 2020. They told me like the coolest thing. It was basically that when they were filming season 1, episode 10, which was the first tournament, after Robby, had the injury and then like Daniel LaRusso was going to be, coaching him. It wasn't until they got on set and were experiencing everything where they decided like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the announcer said, Daniel LaRusso is going to coach? Daniel LaRusso is going to coach as an echo to the first Karate Kid, which, I mean, for me, like when I heard them say that they came up with that on set, I was so surprised because it was such a good reference that I thought like, oh, like that was always in the plan, but they just came up with that. And that's so iconic. So,
right.
So hearing this story, it just reminded me of that situation where now let's say, basically, I guess what we're saying is if we're in Cobra Kai season 6, something like that cannot happen. You can't change anything. You can't, even if it's a better idea, even if it's like a reference, like if like, there's a blueberry pie in the room, they can't make reference to that deleted scene with the blueberry pie. There can't be any of those small little things. What's there is there. And as as they're talking about here with Miss Marvel, like, yeah, being at location, being with all the actors, like that's what happened. I mean, when they were at that tournament, it was like, oh my God, like Daniel Russo's gonna coach. We gotta do that. And it was perfect. So like, yeah, I mean, that just sparked that memory. And I'm sure there's been tons of other scenarios and situations where the same has happened, where they're on set and it's all these ideas that happen.
Yes, Drew, that's a perfect example. That's exactly right. That's the problem right now is doing that, right? It's
Yeah.
you might think it's like an ad lib or it's an improv. No, it's writing. You're writing
Mhm.
on set when you're coming up with something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great scenario that really relates obviously to Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let me continue
Oh,
down.
I see a familiar name.
Yes, indeed. This kind of scenario is, of course, no longer possible during the ongoing writer's strike. Quote, pens down, which we just read in what we saw, pencils down in John's tweet, means no WGA member can write or change scripts whatsoever before, during, or after production. In many cases, that has meant that showrunners have left their shows entirely. Like The Lord of the Rings of Power executive producers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, or Cobra Kai executive producer John Hurwitz.
Mhm.
So this is the first thing I've seen apart from John's tweet. We figured it, but this is being reported in Variety right now that John Hurwitz has left the show. He's not working on the show. It doesn't mention Josh and Hayden, but I would think they would all do the same thing. We don't know. That's speculation, but at least according to Variety, John Hurwitz has left the show. He's not involved right now. So that's kind of that's a big new thing, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Right.
Left the show. They quote left. Yes, and you would assume Hayden and Josh are there. Now, are they? Where is this information coming from? The tweet, or is there anywhere else they're getting it from?
Well, since this is an actual like publication, I'm sure that they've corroborated this behind the scenes that this has happened. But so at least Variety, and again, we'd be trusting Variety's reporting, but this would seem to go in line with John's tweet when he said that, once a fair deal's in place, we'll get back to kicking ass. Right. So, but there's a reason for this, guys. We'll continue reading the article and we'll see why this might have to be the case right now.
The way you said it, it like broke my heart. It's like John Hurwitz has left the show.
Well, and keep in mind, like if anyone's just watching this right now, it's not that he's permanently left the show.
Yeah.
This is just due to the strike right now, the writer's strike, which could end any day, or it could go on for a long time. We don't know. The last one lasted 100 days. So the trouble is that the strike happened right as season 6 was starting filming. So that's the trick here.
And they usually film for like 4 months. So 100 days is a little over 3 months.
A little over 3 months.
So, I mean, if we're going by the last strike, season 6 is almost done filming, but that can't even be possible because we don't even know if they have enough scripts to get them that far.
Right. And that's what's happened on there are all these other shows where they halted production. They had like say 6 out of 8 scripts kind of done and they just had to halt production. They couldn't keep going. So at least right now the production is going. Obviously, as we talked about, John, Josh, and Hayden, they're very smart. They know what they're doing. Everyone knew that this could be coming up for months. So I'm sure they planned for this scenario to try and do something, during the writer's strike. But yeah, let's continue, Drew, because I think a lot of this will start to make more sense. Yeah. So So this is hopefully good information that we can use to speculate on what might be happening. So other writers' rooms have shut down in advance of production on their next seasons, like Abbott Elementary and Yellow Jackets. Some showrunners are still involved with their series, however. House of the Dragon executive producer Ryan Condal is on set during production of the HBO series' second season in the UK, but with scripts already completed. So they completed all the scripts. Condal is working in what a source close to the show says is strictly a non-writing capacity. No editing, no network notes, no writing. Okay, so, and this is allowed by the WGA. It's a tricky thing to be, a tricky position to be in, where you're trying to carve out what's writing and what's not writing, and you're performing that. But that's going to be trickier as we keep reading. I don't know. Let me finish this paragraph, because you may have seen Andor, Drew. Similarly, while Andor executive producer Tony Gilroy is not on set and no longer writing, scripts were locked months ago. Sources say he is still working as a producer on specific non-writing elements like casting and scoring for the Disney Plus show.
So I actually haven't seen all of Andor. I watched the first 3 episodes. Did you see all of it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But the other Drew Rohally loves it. He recommends it to everyone.
I hear it's really good, so I definitely want to go check it out. But yeah, I just haven't gone around to it. But yes, I think, I don't know, the first 3 episodes didn't like grab me, but I think after that, I think it picks up. So I'll have to give it another try. But yeah, interesting. So because they finished the scripts, I guess it doesn't really matter at that point. So that show's still going on, as well as the other shows. But basically, all they're saying is the shows with completed scripts can continue production as normal, because writing isn't let's say writing is not like required. I mean, it would obviously help to have writers on set to do those changes, but they can go about everything since they already have scripts.
Yes. Although in a little bit, we're going to see why that's a huge complication, even in that case. But also keep in mind that Andor is a very different type of series than, say, Cobra Kai or a lot of other series, because they really need to have their scripts locked, because they have visual effects. They have so many things that they need to start working on ahead of time, that all these different teams have to be in place. So it might be more difficult to sort of rewrite as they move forward, although I'm sure that's happening quite a lot. As you know, Ms. Marvel, I mean, that's a similar type show anyway. So okay, top of this next paragraph, but carving out writing from a showrunner's duties remains a tricky tightrope to walk. Quote, "There's a lot of producing responsibilities that go hand in hand with being a writer," says a veteran filmmaker who's worked as a writer and director in TV and film. Anonymous. "Sometimes there are questions that actors have. Sometimes you'll rewrite something while you're on set for clarity or to help with the scene or with acting." And this is exactly what we were talking about on Tuesday. This is what happens. You know, this is why you have writers. It's this organic process of making a TV show. Unexpected delays could force a production to condense or cut a scene. Losing a location due to unforeseen circumstances may force a last-minute change in the script. We talked about that possibility last time. Quote, "If something is truly locked, like we're not going to change a word of this, we're just going to go shoot it exactly how it is, then that's fair game," says the veteran. Quote, "It's just rarely the case."
Yeah. And so I know we talked about it a little bit before, but improvisation, what's the situation with that? Because if there is that's a great point that they brought up with the acting. I mean, you know, it's I know I think it was Mark Hamill who plays Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, or it was Harrison Ford. It was one of them. They said, you know, about George Lucas's writing. He says, you know, you can write it, but you can't always read it.
Right. Right.
Just because you can write it down doesn't mean it's always natural to say. So with Cobra Kai, I'm sure, you know, even though we have very talented writers, there may be certain things that they're writing that they think will sound good. Maybe that there's like exposition they have to write, but then like, you know, William Zabka's like, you know what? Like saying this out loud doesn't really sound natural to the character. Maybe if I said XYZ. So what's the situation now with that and improvisation or changing a line?
Okay. And that's a complicated answer too, because if you have actors who are in the show, who are not part of the Writers Guild, then they could technically do that. But here's the problem. The actors, especially the Screen Actors Guild, all the union actors, they are in solidarity with the writers right now. So you might have actors who could change their line. They could make it different, but they might go, you know something? I'm not doing that because I have solidarity with the writers. I am not going to write or rewrite the scene. Also, you might have some actors like, for instance, Thomas Ian Griffith and others, probably William Zabka and Ralph Macchio, you know, who might be members of the Writers Guild as well. And so they won't change. They're not allowed to like rewrite themselves. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a very complicated situation. It maybe some actors would choose to do it. And it's not against the rules or anything, but they may decide for themselves in solidarity with the writers not to do that type of improvisation.
Are they allowed to do improvisation on set, or does it have to be like written down in the script? Does it have to be changed? Because if it's written in the script and the actor says something that's not in the script, and especially with the strike going on, how does that work?
Right. You know, it's probably a gray area. That, you know, we mentioned last time the whole like Jenna Ortega and Wednesday series where she basically on set decided, no, I'm not saying those lines. My character wouldn't say that. What the writers gave me is not right. And she did not go back to the writers. She just changed it herself and like rewrote it. And that basically ticked off writers everywhere. It's like, what the heck? You know, you don't do that. Like, you need to come back to the writers and tell them what your problems are. You don't rewrite yourself, you know? So I'm sure, I mean, the show, I mean, I don't know, everyone here, some of you might have seen Wednesday, and yeah, it was good. Like, it was good. Like, I thought maybe like the first half was better than the second half. She does an amazing job. Jenna Ortega does an amazing job. She's really talented, but you know, there are ways to do things, you know, and and that's okay. Maybe she kind of saw, oh, okay, I didn't expect that. And, you know, that won't be a problem going forward. But so it's probably a gray area. Like, you know, oh, maybe if I switch these two words around, it'll sound better coming out of my mouth. You know, maybe that's not that big a deal. But if it's like, oh man, this whole line's, I don't know, it's not sounding right. Or once we're here on the set, if in the moment, somehow it's not working, you know, actors might decide, hey, I'm not going to change that. We're just going to have to try to make it work.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So this is good stuff, guys. Yeah, Drew, just jump in. If you see something. So the last quote, if something's truly locked, like we're not going to change a word, we're just going to shoot exactly how it is, and it's fair game. It's just rarely the case. Okay, so that is the exception, not the rule on shows. And then look at this. For that reason, Writers Guild leadership has requested showrunners not go to set.
For any show?
Right. So we're in a situation where the showrunners are pretty much indistinguishable from writers. And that's the thing, guys. Like, if you have a series, the showrunner is probably going to be touching the script of every single show. Like, they might not be credited as a writer, but they will have writing input on every single show. So that's what makes it really difficult for the showrunners to be involved with the show, because almost everything what they're doing involves writing. So that's what they've requested. And from what we know, I think you mentioned Tuesday, Drew, that John, Josh, and Hayden were not in Atlanta back on Tuesday. I think you mentioned that. And it looks like, if not, and I think we know John Hurwitz isn't, this is why, probably, that the Writers Guild has said that they can't go to set.
Well, we haven't seen, like, they haven't posted any. I personally, I mean, if they're striking, they must be out in those protests. I haven't seen any photos online of them,
Right.
and I believe they would be doing that in Los Angeles. But if they're part of the protest and if they're saying no writers on set, I would assume they're not in Atlanta.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right. And that's we don't know that for sure, but we do know that according to this Variety article that John Hurwitz is not involved in the current production of Cobra Kai. And that might mean Josh and Hayden as well. And it might be because of this that the Writers Guild has requested that the showrunners not go to set.
Mm.
So anyway, oh my gosh. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Quote, the rules are very clear that virtually nothing a showrunner does is permitted, says Lowell Peterson, executive director of WGA East. Almost everything a showrunner does involves writing. Okay. And that's clearly prohibited. Okay. So as I'll let you digest that and I'll keep going.
Okay.
Adds WGA East president Michael Winship. The minute I decide, quote, he should wear a red hat and he should wear a green hat, that's an editorial decision. All of these things essentially come down to writing. So this is, guys, this is a very strict view of what writing is, but it's true. It's sort of like you're creating the scene. It's, you know, you can think of a script as a template for what you see. And if you're changing something in that template, then you're writing.
Wait a second. So is it possible that, I mean, what's very tricky about this too is like, I mean, we don't know, like, I mean, that sentence right there just gave me like thoughts about this, but like, we don't know how specific John, Josh, and Hayden were in their writing. Like, you know, depending on how specific they were, could either benefit them or hurt them in this situation, depending on now when they're on set, the director might not have as much flexibility because there can't be any changes. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Although it would be different maybe for a director. So if you have a director who's not in the guild, they might be able to do some of that. But the problem is for showrunners, well, you know, actually, that's a really good point. Actually, now that I think about it, because yeah, I think the guild is basically saying that no one but the writers can write. So yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have really that flexibility.
So Joel Novoa, the director, he's not part of the guild. He's not a writer.
I don't know. I assume probably not, because that would avoid complications. He can still direct, even if he's a member of the guild. He has to just be very careful to shoot exactly what's written.
But here's the question though. Why? Well, I guess because they're writers. Like why John, Josh, and Hayden can't be there?
Right.
Because
well,
they're writers, I guess.
Right. Because they're writers. They're not allowed to write, and they're members of the guild too. But as we'll see in a minute, that's not stopping. This is what the Writers Guild says. The studios have a different opinion. We'll get to that soon, or at least some of them, like Warner's and Disney, have come out and they're basically like, hey, guess what, guys? You need to work. Like, we get that if you're a writer, you can't work, but sorry, like if you got to get to work, showrunners, and just do everything you can to get this show done. So yeah, we'll see. This is a complicated situation, guys. So yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
In the case of House of the Dragon, a separate source with experience working on the precursor series Game of Thrones says that the gargantuan scope of that show meant that scripts were indeed very rarely changed once they were completed. We talked about that with the Andor, since so many different departments had to work far in advance to prepare for production. The source could not, however, speak to if the same were true for House of the Dragon. Whether or not showrunners remain on set amid the writer's strike, the absence of any writing throughout the production and post-production process almost certainly restricts the creative freedom of the production, even when scripts were finished in advance. Quote, when you're banking scripts, especially on a short series, you're writing them in a vacuum. You haven't started location scouting yet. You haven't often cast it yet. You don't really understand the character fully until you cast, because the great TV characters, it's a marriage of the actor, the writer, and the material. And that's what the writer does on set. We handle everything from small changes to, does this character even talk the same way anymore?
Yeah. So
What do you think?
yeah, I got some thoughts on that. I first off, I think this article is brilliant. It's a brilliant article. I think this is, the whole time I'm reading this, I'm definitely thinking about Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai is it's categorized as a 30-minute, even though we might not necessarily categorize it as that, it's categorized as a 30-minute comedy technically. And you know, it's not one of those shows like or House of the Dragon with all the special effects, and where they spend like all this time writing and preparing for it. I mean, the writing process seems to be very, very quick. You know, there's so many different units going around. And yeah, as I say, like location scouting is usually going on as they're doing it. They don't have all their cast members yet. I mean, you know, there's a lot, like all the stories we hear about Cobra Kai behind the scenes, it's all like chaos. How they have all this stuff going on at once. Like the school fight, for example, at the end of season 2. So many of the actors have come out and said, like, yeah, we had like one crew here, we had another crew here, we had another crew this person got hurt, so we had to change this. That's another thing with Cobra Kai. What if an actor gets hurt? Like, what if someone gets hurt and it affects something? Like Cobra Kai is a show where there's a lot going on, and I feel like it's a show that we've heard that has benefited from script changes. I mean, oh my God, like the more I think about it, oh my God. AJ Hicks, who plays Edwin on Cobra Kai. He's one of the background Cobra Kai students. The dance scene at the season 2 at Moon's party. You know the dance battle between Edwin and Nate.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't remember, I got wait, where is it?
It's great.
I love that. So that scene, I believe AJ said that scene came up with that on the day of. They were like, we think it would be cool to have a dance battle. AJ, can you do it? And Nate, can you do it? So they came up with that on the day of. And I mean, like, you know, there's all these like, and once again, when you come up with stuff on the day of, sometimes it can be little, like a dance battle, or sometimes it can be big, like Daniel LaRusso's going to coach. So Cobra Kai is a show where it does seem like there are a lot of changes based on the actors that they have and the cast. I mean, like, you know, you have a man like Thomas Ian Griffith with multiple skill sets. Like, dude could play piano, or he could, you know, he could wield a sword. I mean, there's different things that it's like, oh, you could do that? Great, let's do it. No, you can't change it. You got to stick to what you have, which it could be good, but good maybe instead of great.
Right. And I mean, how amazing was that dance battle? It's like all those touches. Yeah. Right. And that's writing. That's everything. And all those little touches, I'm convinced that Cobra Kai is full of them all over the place. And that's what makes the show special, is like all of these touches that you're talking about, you know, where Daniel LaRusso is going to coach, you know, that just all that stuff really adds up. And sometimes it can be very difficult to come up with those ahead of time, because it is dependent on like, wow, I'm looking at everyone here on this set right now in a house, all these kids. And it's like, you know, it'd be awesome. It'd be a dance battle. Like, so sometimes you just get ideas and you're inspired when you're in a location with the actors, or you see like, wow, you know, say Thomas Ian Griffith, man, he's going in an amazing direction here. Like maybe we should keep this going. Maybe we should like give him a few more lines here, you know, and you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. It restricts it to a point where it could still be good, but yeah, not. But but when you're making a show or a film, like why not make it great if you can? Why
Right.
settle for good when you can make it great? And that's what they did by adding those little scenes. And now it's very possible that we could be missing out. It's very possible that they're in production right now and the scripts may be great, but it's like they might be on set being like, wish we could have done that. Wish we could have changed that, but we can't.
Yeah, I
And
know exactly.
maybe we'll find out one day what I don't know. Maybe someone will come forward. I don't know. What do you think someone will come like forward? Like we haven't heard anything. Nobody said. Even the actors
Well,
aren't like saying like I'm so happy to be on set. None of the actors are posting about it. Is there a reason for that? You think?
well, I saw this actual super chat from Clifford, which is amazing. Clifford, thanks. And he asks, even with the writers on strike, are they still bound by the non-disclosure rule with revealing about Cobra Kai season 6? And Drew, I think maybe you're seeing everyone has signed NDAs. They can't talk about it, you know,
Mm.
and I'm sure they can't talk about what's going on with production. I mean, the photos from Frank are amazing, you know, on set. But yeah, you're right. We haven't heard a thing aside from John Hurwitz's first tweet. Everyone's been silent. You know, Josh and Hayden have been absolutely silent. No one's talking about what's going on. So I think even here in this article that we're reading, we have some anonymous people in the industry, anonymous directors who are talking about this. So even people aren't comfortable saying everything in a news article and putting their name to it. So yeah, I bet NDAs are in full force right now. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah. But even like here we are on the set of season 6. No, I can't do that.
I guess it might be very ironclad on their contracts. I mean, think of how much they were able to keep from everyone. They had like completely shot season 5 before season 4 came out, and no one had any clue
But
what
what
was going
about
to
Frank
happen in
Helmer's
season 4.
posts? How come Frank Helmer is able to post the
That's that. You
slate?
know, that's a really good question because I don't know. Maybe they were innocuous. I guess we know that scene 13 in episode 1 takes place in the morning. You know, I mean, but that's kind of revealing something. I don't know. I don't know. Can you guess, guys? Like, maybe that's not spoiler enough. I don't know, but or maybe he didn't sign the same type of NDA, but maybe he can't show people or anything like that. But like costumes and maybe a slate, he can. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that, Clifford. Thank you. Thank you for the message. And I think we got another super chat here from Code Blue 36. Thank you for the super chat. Is season 6 getting canceled?
No.
There you go. No. Okay, bye. No, I'm kidding. No, season 6 is not getting canceled. If you're just joining us right now, which might be the case, basically season 6 is filming. We are going to get season 6. There's just a writer's strike preventing any writing on any show from occurring. So that's what we're talking about, and that's what's having effect. And if you go back to the beginning of the stream, like we'll catch you up on all of it, because we do refresh about the whole situation, and it can be very confusing. You know, if like I can only imagine. I mean, me and you know, we've been talking about this, like we've been like texting every day about this, and you know, we've done a couple live streams. We stay on top of the news, but for like the general viewer, you know, to see like Cobra Kai season 6 getting put on hold, like, you know, I don't blame them for like being like, oh, wait, is it canceled? Like, what's going on? Like, because you
Right.
know, not everyone keeps up to date as much, you know.
Yes. That's great. And if you're just joining us, keep watching, because I mean, we're going to talk about all these things.
Yeah.
And answer your questions.
Yes, definitely. If you have any questions, put them down below, and we're gonna get to that as we continue to read this article, this lovely article from Variety. So
Yes, brand new article. Okay, guys, we'll go to this paragraph. This is a lot of good information here. In fact, the growing practice of excluding TV writers from the production process, with writers' rooms finishing all scripts well in advance of filming, is one of the key factors in the WGA's contract dispute with the AMPTP. The AMPTP is the group that represents the studios. So, Drew, this idea of like pre-writing all the scripts, getting them ready to shoot, this is a problem that the Writers Guild's trying to negotiate through, because we've already seen how detrimental that can be to a show. If like, oh, we need to just have you write them all ahead of time, and we're just going to shoot those, and we don't want you writers on set. We don't want to pay to have you on set. We want you to just pay you basically for writing ahead of time, and we'll take it from there. So that's a big problem that they're trying to negotiate now. Traditionally, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. And question: AMPTP. So that those are the studios. What does that stand for?
Let's see. That stands for, gosh, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers.
So it's all the studios basically. So it's the Writers Guild of America's WGA. AMPTP is all the studios that they're trying to get better contracts from. Okay.
Yes. And this group, the AMPTP, is also the one that's going to be negotiating with the Actors Guild and the Directors Guild coming up. Oh, we haven't even gotten to that yet, guys.
Oh
Guess
my God.
we haven't gotten to that yet. Okay.
And the YouTubers Guild.
Yeah, right. There might be one. Who knows? There might be one in the future.
That'd be funny.
Would that be funny? I don't know. Then, we could be picketing, Drew. My goodness.
Sure.
Traditionally, a TV writer has been effectively the producer of whatever episodes they've written, charged with guiding the directors through the process to ensure the series remains tonally consistent, as well as scripting any last-minute changes during production itself. So right here, I mean, this is the traditional role of a TV writer. They are very powerful in TV production. You can see just how integral they are. They guide the directors, as far as like what makes sense. And then, as we've talked about, the last minute changes that occur during production. Yes.
And another thing, like with a TV show, I mean, because of the stuff we mentioned, we already touched upon this a little, but when you make a movie is usually very clear cut, beginning, middle, end. TV show, there's, I mean, with Cobra Kai, there's 5 hours of content. There's a lot that goes into it, and with other shows, sometimes it's even longer. So it's a lot of material. And yes, to write it all in advance and to just leave it the way it is. If you could do that, props off to you. But for TV, that's a lot. That's very rare because it's so much.
Yes. And that's what helps, like with this article, is like they are basically saying exactly what you just said, Drew, that the idea of banking all these scripts, getting them all done, and then shooting what's written, that's very rare. And only in certain types of shows is that the case. Otherwise, writers are constantly there working on the show. Okay, so the next paragraph. But growing practice of excluding most writers from producing has put even more producing weight on the shoulders of showrunners, like John, Josh, and Hayden. Quote, "It's kind of terrible for the showrunners," says a veteran. "Writers don't produce the rest of their episode. They just kind of go away. And then the showrunner is left to do all the work that would normally happen on set. It's like you're the captain of a ship. You have a whole crew. You come up with a shell, you disband the crew, and then you're just the captain with no crew."
I mean, yeah, that's a good analogy. Oof,
right.
That's rough.
That's rough.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we wanna be positive about, I mean, season 6 is filming. We would love, if we would love to say that it's 100% fine, but it's not. I mean, maybe it is, but this doesn't seem too good. And Ken, we've been speaking about it. This situation is not normal. I think normal is
No.
the big word.
Right.
These things aren't normal. The last time this happened was in 2007, you said?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it went for 100 days, and it cost the industry over $2 billion.
Oh, I don't think. Wait, I'm not sure if I heard that part. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my. In 100 days, it cost them $2 billion.
Yes. Well, because you can see like right now, if this, we're thinking about this through a Cobra Kai lens, but just put this on top of every single show and movie that's being produced right now. And we can see this, like, even in this last thing that we read, is that you have this showrunner with no writers. It's like a showrunner trying to command a ship with no crew.
Yeah.
When it comes to a TV series. And yeah, it's just it completely hampers production. It stops production, and it stops these things getting made that make money for the studio. So the studio is going to lose money.
Man.
Isn't that nuts?
Question.
Yes.
The new Karate Kid film in 2024. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Is this affecting that at all?
Oh yeah. If anyone's writing on that right now, that's stopped.
Because it was set to release in June of 2024.
Oh yeah. That's unless they have, like, again, that scenario of like, oh, we've got the script, it's done. And I doubt it, because we would have heard news, I think, if it was going to start shooting. So if it's not shooting yet, that means they're still writing it. And so that's stopped right now. So you're going to see a lot of delays on projects that aren't almost like far into production or finished. All these things, it's a big delay.
But you know what you're not going to see a delay on?
What?
Cobra Kai Kid and Ken Cole.
That's right.
We're coming at you with the content. Subscribe. Cobra Kai Kid. Subscribe to Ken Cole. We got videos. We got live streams. We got all the best content. And you know what? No strike is going to bring us down. So
no, exactly.
Just saying. Anything you'd like to add?
We're happy to. What was that?
Oh, anything you'd like to add to that?
Look at that. Oh, did you see down at the bottom, Hayden?
What?
Hi, Hayden. How's it going?
No way. Oh my goodness. And
that's right.
You know that's him because of that user, that profile picture.
Yes.
Hayden says, "Hey, look, I'm still writing it." It's good to see you here.
It's great. See, Drew, our live stream is not a struck production. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. No, Hayden, we just told everyone that they don't have to worry, that our channels are still here. We're still. I mean, I don't really do too much writing, but we didn't write anything for this, so I guess we're good to go. We're doing this all on the spot.
And Hayden, of course, our hearts out to everyone. We're hoping for a swift end to this strike, and hopefully a good deal can be reached, and that everyone, you and everyone, all the talented people involved in the show can do everything they want to do with Cobra Kai and all these projects going forward.
Great. I second that completely.
That's great.
Oh my god. No. But okay. But you're on a writer's strike, not a typing strike.
Yeah, that's right.
John said pencils down. He never said keyboards down. And here's the thing, like, are they actually writing the scripts on pieces of paper? I think they're typing it up. Maybe this is all an illusion.
Yeah, maybe. Yes.
He should have said keyboards down. So does that mean they could keep the keyboards up? No, I'm messing with you. But Hayden, thank you for popping in here. We're all so supportive of you guys. and everything. Obviously, what's going on is tough, but as Ken mentioned, we're all rooting for you. We get it, and we support you. Everyone in the chat, we're happy to have you here right now, and we'll continue to support you because Cobra Kai never dies. And season 6 is gonna be a badass season, and we're excited. And hopefully things can get resolved soon because we miss you guys. We want you guys. We want to see you guys kicking some ass, as John said. So
yes.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So Hayden Schlosser, thank you for popping in. There we go.
Thank you. Yes.
And Hayden, if any of the situation is, we're doing our best to explain the situation.
Yes. We're using approved sources. If there's anything that you can add, feel free, of course. And but we understand that no one can really say anything.
Yes, and we don't want you to get in trouble for typing.
Yes.
Guys, don't tell anybody. Top secret. So
my lips are sealed.
Yes. We got 100 people here. It won't go anywhere.
Yes. We can, it's circle of trust here. Circle of trust.
Circle of trust. Okay. Awesome. All right. Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going. And okay, so if you guys are wondering why Hayden Schlossberg is conflicted about typing, and what's happening with all the writers right now, we're continuing to explain this situation.
Well, if he's conflicted about typing, maybe he should just come on here and talk to us.
That's right. He could talk.
He could talk.
Yeah.
Hayden, I'll let me know if you want a link. He could pop on here. We could all read this article together.
That would be amazing.
That'd be fun.
Okay, so obviously Hayden's in the Writers Guild. Writers can also play a critical role in the post-production process. They consider if you're cutting dialogue to make a scene make more sense, or cutting for time and deciding what dialogue to extract, the veteran says. That's also considered writing. So
is that really?
Apparently so. So according to, and that's new to me. I did not know that. So what that means, what that would mean is if they have editors like going, like say they're shooting, right? And as soon as they're done shooting, they're passing that footage to editors, and editors are starting to work and organize on the show. If they're to the point where they're making these kinds of changes, they can't do it because that's considered writing. So it might delay the post-production process a little bit as well.
That's big, because I mean, a big part of post-production is cutting dialogue, because a lot of it, like, when you're editing, especially when you put sound effects and music and wait a second, what about like deleted scenes? Because Cobra Kai, they always have deleted scenes. Does that mean there can be no deleted scenes if this strike continues to go on?
Yeah, I know. That's a pretty comprehensive statement right there. If you're cutting dialogue to make a scene make more sense, or cutting for time and deciding what dialogue to extract, that's considered writing. So yeah, technically that's editing. So aside from like doing an assembly cut where you just like put together everything that's been shot, it seems like if you want to get more nuanced, and fine tune that edit, that could be considered writing, according to this veteran quoted in the Variety article.
Now, another question. After, let's say episodes 1 through 3 get shot. This is all scenario. Episodes 1 through 3 are filmed. Now the writer's strike is over. Can John, Josh, and Hayden, the writers, go back and make some changes, or make some do some reshoots, add some stuff, or is schedule too tight? Is it kind of done at that point?
Right. So obviously when the strike's over, they can go back and do whatever they need to do. I think the issue would be, what's the budget situation? Like, will it add to the budget of the show? Is Sony, or Netflix, will they provide extra funding to finish it? And, we talked about, like, it cost the industry $2 billion the last strike. I think that's part of the cost is, you kind of have these productions that need more work and you need more time. And, they might have to front the cost of, keeping everyone on the payroll, like editors, writers, to go back and kind of fix things. So that is my guess on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting though, guys. I mean, isn't that interesting how important writers are? They're very important.
I do writing myself, but like in terms of like the industry and the actual writing industry, I personally did not know how important they were to the whole production. Because you think after you write, that's it. Maybe you do a few things after that, but I mean, after you write, it's important to be there, for filming. At least have some of the writers, for
Right.
filming and editing. So it's pre-production, production, and post-production. It's essential. And I'm learning all about this now. And I think learning about this, it's like, hell yeah, our writers deserve more. I mean, they're not just, handing in a script and leaving, especially, the John, Josh, and Hayden, the creators. I mean, these guys are involved in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have Sony wouldn't have a show without them,
Yep, exactly. And we have a statement from Hayden.
Oh, another one?
Yes.
Oh. You want to read this?
Sure. Okay. Hayden says, all I can say is I hope the strike will end soon with a good deal for writers. And we did everything we could to prepare for this, and we will do everything we can to make sure the final season is great. That's awesome.
Wow.
Very cool.
Well, first off, Hayden, we know that this is a situation where I know, all of us fans are curious about what's going on. We know you can't talk too much about it. So we appreciate you for like coming in and just like, chatting with all of us and, giving us this, reassurance. Cause I mean, we love this show and we want the best for it. We just want it to be the best around, which it is. So, the big thing that I'm taking away from this is we did everything we could to prepare for this.
Yes.
Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm guessing that as we talked about, John, Josh, and Hayden are geniuses, and they knew this. They knew this was coming. Obviously, the date has been known, and they knew that this would be a possibility, so they prepared for it. And they probably said, "Okay, we're going to approach the season this way. We're going to approach production this way, so that hopefully, if there's a strike, it will end soon. So maybe we can kind of bridge over that time of the strike so that when we come back, everything's in place to go forward and produce an amazing season." So, yeah, this is amazing. I have no doubt that they prepared as well as anyone could have for this strike. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll say that, like, obviously what's going on, it's necessary that they handle it. I'm sure that, rather than figuring out, how to, schedule production, they would rather be focused on the creative aspect. When I was making a film recently where I was a director and, I was trying to focus on the directing and the creative side of it, but then, all the people in the crew, they weren't really doing their jobs and there was other stuff and I had to get involved there. It's like, but the most important thing for me is to focus on the story, which, I know John, Josh, and Hayden, if they like, it's another thing that they had to think about, which obviously they had to think about it, but like, it must be stressful. I mean, to schedule it. I mean, the good news is that they did prepare for it, but I'm curious. I mean, we won't know until maybe afterwards. We'll figure out how. I'm very curious. Like those talks. What went into
Mhm.
preparing? Like, what is the preparation? What are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think he means by we prepared for this? Like, what specifically, just other than writing the episodes?
Mhm. Well, I think probably a lot of it would have to do with scheduling too. So if you knew what episodes you're going to write and you knew generally the material you had to shoot, you could start the production focusing on scenes that might not be as sensitive to, like, you remember how we talked about how things are discovered on set and you might come up with moments and like big moments, that kind of thing. Maybe the plan would be, this is hypothetical, Hayden, please correct me if you're still watching, but to focus on the scenes that aren't as writer critical
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. And then hopefully if the writer's strike is resolved, hopefully soon, it really wouldn't impact production that much. And then maybe also it would be having some scripts ready and that feel like they're in good shape. It's season 6. It's a cohesive team. Maybe they have a good sense of how, these scripts are going to play, and they've got some great scripts together. So if they need to, they can keep shooting those scripts as is. I don't know. That's just a guess on my part.
Yeah. So there we go. We have confirmation that scene 13C in episode 1 of Cobra Kai season 6 is not going to be that important. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I can't wait to see what scene 13C is.
I know, right? That's so great. It's early morning. That's all we know.
Early morning. Julie Pierce comes into the Miyagi-Do dojo and says, "Yeah, I'm getting ready for battle." I watch it be like, like Daniel sits down and eats a burger, and then cut to scene 14. That's it. It's just like, I am so. That's all I want to know. I just want to know what scene 13C is. I'm so curious.
Right. I know it'll be great. It'll be great to watch the final episode.
Yeah. My guess is still the Miyagi-Do dojo, but we'll see. We'll see. But Hayden, thank you for the comment.
Thank you, Hayden.
Oh, gotta go, guys. Strike.
That's great.
Oh god.
Nice.
It's funny because even though like we already heard John say it, it's still funny. It's like, I mean, if there's gonna be a strike, I mean, you might as well use the Cobra Kai quotes for it. Strike hard.
Exactly. It's the perfect team to do a writer's strike. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, Hayden, thank you so much for coming in. We once again, we really appreciate it. And listen, we're here for you. We all support you, and you guys are the best around.
Yes. Hayden, thank you so much. It's an honor always to have you comment on things, and best of luck on the writer's strike.
Yes, and may the force be with you. Oh, sorry, wrong franchise. Cobra Kai never dies. There we go. We have another super chat here from Andy Potsch. Thank you so much, Andy. I've been hearing rumors that Robby and Miguel quit.
Is that you mean in the show, like the characters in the show, or do you mean the actors?
That I do not know. I could tell you for sure that the actors haven't quit. Now, for the characters, maybe I don't know what they would be quitting on, if you want to clarify that. Oh, the actors? He's saying the actors. I don't think that's true.
Well, we can talk about that, Drew.
Oh, yes.
Because we can talk about that as we kind of get into this, because this is so complicated, guys, like the whole thing. But as you know, we talked about before that some actors are acting in solidarity with the writers. And that's a big thing where the different guilds, including the Screen Actors Guild, has guidelines on what actors can and can't do, because a lot of actors will want to strike as well because they want the writers to get paid fairly. And so that could be, and I don't know, we have no information. Andy, I think was your name. If you have a source for that, if you could share that, and we can, I know those could be rumors. If you have any kind of source, we could talk about it. I don't know, but it's possible that an actor could choose to not work while the writer strike's going on, just to help their cause. Even though I think that's against the guidance of the Screen Actors Guild right now. The guild wants actors to continue to work. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, let us know if there's any kind of source.
Yeah. So we'll see. You mentioned here in this article that some talk about the actors and the directors, possibly something coming up with them. So if we keep going, we'll get into that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so yes, back to this article, Drew. It's deep, man. It's deep, but I think it's good, so we form good ideas on what's happening. So next, with the strike, that critical element of the creative process is no longer available, which can especially hamstring a strategy like that of Marvel Studios that relies on finding and reshaping the story all the way through the edit. Often on big movies, especially, they're rewriting all the time, says the veteran. It's a constant process. Okay, so even on Marvel movies, they keep rewriting. At least 8 Marvel titles, feature films, all those feature films there are currently still in production and post-production. This is almost the end of the article. For any TV show or feature film, the desire to continue working amid the writer's strike could become moot. Here we go. Once the contract deadlines for SAG-AFTRA, which is the Screen Actors Guild, and the DGA expire on June 30th, which could lead to both guilds also joining the picket lines. Okay. For now, productions that do move forward are, in the words of the veteran, operating, quote, with one hand tied behind their back. Quote, I can't imagine shooting anything without a writer on set, Bradley says. You can, but you will not get the best material for the directors, for the actors, or for the audience. All right. So Drew, this has been a ton of information. I need your thoughts on all of this. So this is a great inside look at the importance of writers on set. I think it's fair to say, Drew, that this is a big deal. It's a big deal for a TV show.
Yes. And I mean, all of these sources, these are all these people talking. They're like fellow writers, are they?
They're working writers, directors in the industry. Some of them are anonymous, but obviously this is an industry. Variety is an industry publication, so this is these are the real people involved in the industry right now.
Yeah. So like when you have all these articles coming out and saying these things, like how difficult it's going to be doing a production without writers, like it's like, oh wow, that's crazy. But when you have the actual writers, people who have legitimate experience, I mean, Ken, you're a filmmaker too. You've done films, you've written, you've been on set. How important are writers and rewrites to the films that you've worked on?
Oh, just very important. I mean, geez, so much happens when you're on set. I can't stress how important it is to get on location with your actors. And once you see people on location in that setting, it is absolutely huge. It can bring up new ideas on how you want to cover a scene. It can completely change blocking, which is like how the actor moves through a shot, which can completely lead to maybe we need a line here, or maybe we need, we want someone to walk over here, but they need to talk about something or have like some verbal motivation for doing it. Maybe we see a scene play out and we go, something? This is amazing. I think we need more here. I think we need to extend this a little bit. Or you can see how a scene's going and go, something, I don't know. I'm wondering if we go from here to there. I wonder, and just to see that reaction without this character knowing that information. I think that might play better. It's like it's a completely huge thing. I worked with even Francis Ford Coppola. I worked with him back in 2015 on he was working on live cinema, and he wrote it. He wrote the entire thing. Obviously, he's like top level, but he and he was directing it, but he was able to make those changes on set, you know, because he was the writer as well as the director. And so the biggest directors do this all the time, the biggest producers, writers. It's so important to be able to change things because it's an organic process. The script is a blueprint. You know, it's so vital, it's important, but it's a blueprint which becomes a living thing. That's why it's organic, and the writers are part of that organism, you know, that creates a show.
Yeah, definitely. It's a crucial aspect. And yeah, you even mentioned blocking. I mean, I've always been curious, like, you know, and I asked the writers about, like, you know, how they write like certain fight scenes, and some of it's like, you know, they write it, some of it they come up with on set, but like even like, you know, just certain things, maybe they write it wanting to see it, and then the location doesn't have it. What do you do then?
Mhm. Right.
It's very complicated. And Latchy YT sends a super chat. Thank you so much. When is your next when is your next Cobra Kai season 6 video? At first I thought it just said season 6 video. I was like, this is it. This is the video. When is our next Cobra Kai season 6
I don't know, Drew. I think we're on strike.
I mean,
I don't think we can. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, I don't think we're allowed to, honestly. We'll get back into it as soon as the strike is over. No, I'm kidding. We'll get back into it. But I think, you know, for now, we're talking about this. This is some big stuff to talk about.
It is. It is. Right. And hopefully this will play out. Hopefully this will end soon. As Hayden was saying, you know, get this, hopefully this strike over with soon, hopefully, and then they can get back to doing everything they need to do. But yeah, Drew, I mean, it's a lot to talk about. This, if you're a fan of the TV entertainment industry, this is like the top news story.
Yeah. So you read this article. You said it came out a couple hours ago, and you just read it again now. So overall, what were your thoughts and takeaways from this? What was the biggest takeaway? You know,
well, I think the biggest takeaway was, like, if you guys saw our live stream on Tuesday, it pretty much affirms everything that we were talking about. We were talking about like the importance of writers. We talked about, Drew, we were talking even Tuesday about like changes that could happen, locations, what happens with locations, what happens if something happens with an actor who's not available, they have to do rewrites. We talked about the writers being a really organic part of the show writing process. So it really affirmed a lot of that, although I think we learned that John Hurwitz is not on the production right now. It sounds like the showrunners are not on the production per the wishes of the Writers Guild, who says that the showrunners are not to go onto set. So that's new. And then I think we learned all about how important writers are, not in the filming, just, you know, even to the point of putting on a red hat or a green hat, that could be considered writing. How writing affects the post-production process. Like, they're not able to really even edit yet. That type of thing. This article is very interesting, talking about all that. Now, does everyone adhere to all this? No, and I know that that's kind of a secret thing that can happen too. You can have writers who still, they want to get paid and maybe try to write secretly, or, you know, but this is not that type of show. We've seen John, Josh, and Hayden, you know, John's tweet, they have put their pencils down. The writer's room is on strike. And so according to this article, that's basically like a captain on a ship with no crew, essentially. That's kind of what's going on right now. So if Hayden were here, or any of the showrunners were here, they'd probably say that it sucks, but it's important because they need to get their writers fairly compensated. And that's why everyone's striking right now. It's like they value their writers. So that's what's happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, did they get paid like for what they've already done before? Have they gotten paid for that? Or like before the strike, right before the strike,
Mhm.
or what's the situation
I'm
there?
I'm sure they've gotten paid for I'm sure they've gotten paid for everything that they've done, whatever their normal rate would be. And then when the strike takes effect and they go on strike, I'm sure that all the studios and productions are not paying the writers for that time that they're on strike. And I'm not sure. I'm not a member of the Writers Guild, but the writers might get some small compensation from the union to cover some basic costs like food and that kind of thing. But they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid right now. They can't work.
Yeah, for sure. And Lashy, thank you again for the super chat. Thanks for letting me know, Drew. Big fan of you. Oh, thank you, Lashy. We appreciate it. And yeah, Ken, I think now would be like, this time would be a great time to write season 6. It's pretty it's kind of ironic in a way that we started that series of
Right.
writing season 6 and now there's a strike where the writers aren't even allowed to write it, but we're writing our own version.
I know. Wouldn't that be weird? But
Yeah.
yeah, you could.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, if they need some scripts, we're writing it anyway. Might as well
They, they could use, yeah, exactly. I don't know, though, obviously they're, playing by the rules, of course. And we support the writers and but yeah, Drew, it doesn't stop us from having our own ideas of season 6.
Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you how many comments I've gotten, whether it was from this live stream or in the chat, of like, I'll write season 6. Don't worry, I'll write it. I'm not a writer, but
You're
I'll
right.
write season 6. Like everybody, I don't know if you've seen anyone saying that.
Yes, I've seen some of the comments here today. Yeah, it's incredible.
I
Yeah,
love it. I
why
love
not,
it.
right?
Write your own season 6, guys. It's actually, it's really cool. I did that with season 2. Before season 2 came out, I wrote like my thoughts on like what was going to happen. I kind of like had like an outline for episode 1. And even if you're not right, it's fun to like go back and see what you got right, what you got wrong. And I thought they did a good job with season 2, episode 1. I think maybe they could have used some of my ideas, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all good. I thought it was still good. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's all we got so far with that. It's been. I mean, it's been pretty. It's such big news, but yet with Cobra Kai, we're not getting like, I don't know, like, is there, I don't follow any of these other shows. Are like creators of other shows like coming out and saying a bunch of stuff?
No, I think that's because probably everyone, like Hayden was on here, but he couldn't really say anything. But he told us as much as he could. But I think everyone's under NDAs. They can't talk about what's going on with these shows right now, unless it's sort of like this anonymous source, anonymous leak, which, I don't know if actors have stopped acting, but that would probably be covered too. So I'm sure people cannot talk about what's going on during the production of these shows. So that's probably why we're not hearing from these places, but we are seeing articles written about them. These different shows like Lord of the Rings, it's going on, but the showrunners aren't involved anymore. And that seems to be the case with Cobra Kai as well right now, is the showrunners aren't there, but production's going on. So, but no one can talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that we're going to be getting more info soon. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, I think that's, well, I don't know. I think what we might see is maybe some more pictures from the set, or maybe some more leaks. Maybe at some point, someone who's not under an NDA will say what they've seen, and we'll get some news that way. Maybe we'll get some rumors or more articles. Maybe some journalists will dig in and have some anonymous interviews with sources to talk about what's going on with these shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking people well, just like in this article, there were some anonymous directors, writers coming out, you know, giving their thoughts. I think people are going to want to get their thoughts out there. Maybe not exposing who they are, and a source like Variety gets out there.
Mhm.
And we read it today, and it was a really, really good, detailed article. I'm really glad that you picked that one out. It was a very good read. I think it gave us a lot more perspective and confirmation about the situation. You know?
Yes. Yes. And guys, yeah, it's on Variety, and it's basically, the name of it was what? Sorry, so if you're looking it up, if you're interested in this, I suggest you read it again. It's a great read. Pens down what writers not working really means for the shows in production.
Yeah.
So check out that article. It's great. There's a lot of controversy right now. I know there's a lot of discussion back and forth, and confusion of what's going on, but that kind of talks about exactly what's going on. And it mentions John Hurwitz by name. So,
yep, there we go. And there may or may not be more information soon. We don't know. We hope we get more clarification, and if we do, we will we'll have to keep you guys posted on it, right? Ken, you and I are staying up to date on all of it, so
100%.
We'll have to do another one of these. This is good. This is good.
Yeah. 100%. This is amazing, Drew.
Yeah.
We had this amazing discussion, and Hayden joined us, and really it was amazing to hear from him, because wow, it made me feel good, as a fan. They're on top of it, they're aware, and they're still committed to delivering a kick-ass season 6.
Yeah, I mean, if our stream is going to be interrupted by anybody, it's got to be Hayden Schlossberg. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's freaking, that was pretty surreal. That was awesome to have him come in. So yeah, we also have Andy here. Says Bondi, bro. I can't even say my own word, my own catchphrase. Bonsai Kai Dojo on YouTube is where I heard it. Oh, is this about the Robby Miguel quitting? Oh yeah, this is about Robby Miguel quitting.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I still don't know if I guess he said the actors.
The actors. I guess would they make a video about it?
Is it a theory video? It might be a theory video.
Huh. Let's see. I don't know. I might try and look it up real quick.
Possible it's a theory, or talking about, what we just discussed about. But thank you for the super chat. Are you pulling it up, or are you like watching it?
Oh yeah. Okay. So apparently there's a video. It's a short video saying, quote, Tanner Buchanan quits Cobra Kai season 6 ?
Oh, question.
So I don't know if he's talking about I don't know if it's a like speculation, or I don't know. Should we? I don't know. I guess we shouldn't watch it on this channel, but
we'll watch it. We can watch it on our own time.
Yeah, we'll watch it on our own time. Well, we don't know. That's a rumor. These things really, I don't want to report things unless I have a good source on it. So I'm not going to believe that yet until I get a good source.
Yeah. Once again, everything in terms of the actual production is speculation for the most part. Like, we don't know what the actors feel or are going through. I would be, I am interested. Do you think it's possible, because depending on this, I mean, I don't know if the actors, I would imagine they're not too happy, that, I would say maybe they're happy that they get the film, but they're probably a little disappointed that John, Josh, and Hayden, the guys who brought them there in the first place, aren't even on set. I'm sure that must be a little defeating.
Yeah, 100%. And Drew, actually, some people mentioned it in the chat. I'm going to pull up right here. This is new on Twitter.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Wait. No. Oh my God.
Well,
No. You know why I'm saying no, right?
well, okay.
Oh God.
But okay, here's the thing. Keep in mind, okay, like Mary Page Keller and Thomas Ian Griffith. All right, they're both amazing actors, but they are also writers and producers. Okay, so they're members of the Writers Guild, and so if you're a member of the Writers Guild, everyone goes out to Picket. So obviously, they're members. They're going to Picket. This is you know. But look at that. Mary Page Keller talks about, I think that's a series she's on, Virgin River Writers Room. So she might, and Thomas might also be part of a writers room as well. So they're picketing, but it doesn't mean that he's like not shooting scenes as Terry Silver right now. It's possible that those weren't even scheduled yet, or it could be, if we're talking about actors possibly not acting to be in solidarity with writers, maybe, but that's speculation. But what I'm trying to say is this doesn't necessarily mean that Thomas Ian Griffith is not going to it doesn't, but yeah, anyway, tell me your thoughts.
Well, as soon as you pulled it up, I was like, oh yeah, Thomas Ian Griffith posted on Twitter, oh, let's go. And then if you rewind, you'll probably see the realization on my face of like, wait a second, what the heck is he doing here? Why does he have a beard? I can't see, does he have long hair or is his hair short?
Yeah, it's definitely long. It's coming out the back of his cap. Okay. So it's longer. Okay. And don't worry about the beards, Drew. We can shave those off instantly. It's okay.
But is he in episode 1? Is he not in episode 1? No, they better not. No, they better not like save him for like the last like 2 episodes or like any of that. Like, put my boy in there from the beginning. Like,
well, now remember what we talked about, though. It's possible that they reorganize their production schedule so that it's going to focus on non-critical scenes or non-writer dependent critical scenes first. So it's possible that they pushed meaningful scenes down the road a little bit. So
yeah.
now if we keep seeing pictures by Thomas Ian Griffith like every other day for like the next month, well, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, like, the thing is, I mean, he's just such a critical. In season 4 and 5, he had so many scenes.
Right. Well, the thing is, Drew, and of course this because we've been working on potentially writing season 6 ourselves. It's possible that Terry Silver, maybe he shows up not the first episode. Maybe he shows up a few episodes in.
And you know what? You know what I just realized? If he's going to be in jail, if we're going to see any of that, that doesn't even combine. That doesn't even like intertwine with the other characters. Depending on the story, we don't know what that is. But like, I'm just thinking of like John Kreese. We got a couple prison scenes that had nothing to do with anything else. So maybe, if Silver is coming in to, meet with our main characters, later on in the season, like they'll do that when that's ready, and they could always do his prison stuff anytime. But that's assuming that I don't know where they're going to go with that. I don't know if it's going to be like a episode 2. It's like, oh no, the lawyers got him out. We don't know. I don't think they'll I don't think they'll do the same thing that they did with Kreese. I wouldn't really like that, honestly, if it was just like, now it's Terry Silver in jail and the roles are reversed. Like, I think we need something different. I don't, and I hope that it's not a situation where we don't see him until that end of episode 5 or something. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I want him to be the guy. He's still the big bad. He's got to be. Look at that face. Look at that
Yeah.
evil face right there. He's a
Yeah.
menace. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We love him. We love him.
We
gotta.
do.
I'm sorry. I gotta say this. I just gotta say this, guys. Everyone, look to the right of your screen. Look at that. Thomas Ian Griffith. Look who he follows. He follows Mr. Ken Cole. Like that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Look at congratulations on that. There you go,
Well,
Ken.
well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, obviously, both for Thomas Ian Griffith and Mary Page Keller, they are absolutely amazing talents, and you guys know how much of a Terry Silver fan I am, and yeah, I hear you, Drew, but I know that John, Josh, and Hayden love Terry Silver as much as you or I do, and I know that with such a talent like Thomas Ian Griffith playing Terry Silver, who's so good at acting, but also martial arts and everything, he is going to be a huge part of season 6 going forward. We just don't know how quite yet, but without a doubt. Now, again, it's like, look at this, guys. Like, this is, I think, a great example of how this is big. I mean, this is a big thing in the industry. You're seeing Thomas Ian Griffith striking. You're seeing all these people striking as writers, but I think that's a great thing we've been talking about today, that it's not just like Cobra Kai is like, oh, they've already written their scripts and that's it. They're good to go. They're just shooting as normal. No, it looks like that John, Josh, and Hayden are not really, while the strike's going on, they're not involved in the show. They are not on set right now. And the writers are not on they're crucial to a TV show. So it's probably a very different production that's happening right now. And I bet everyone's kind of like, oh gosh, I hope this strike ends soon.
This poses a big question.
Yeah.
If Thomas is in on set, who else is in on set?
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Oh, do you have an answer?
I don't know, but except if if actors are also in the Writers Guild, they will be picketing. So I guess we need to keep our eyes open for actors who are in Cobra Kai who are writers and see if they're out picketing and where they're picketing. Are they picketing in Atlanta? Are they picketing in LA? Like, where are they picketing?
Well, if we look at that tree in the background, no, I'm kidding.
I don't know. Yeah, if anyone's good enough to figure that out.
It doesn't look like a palm tree. Oh my God, look at us, like, just trying to figure out the tree.
Oh gosh, yeah, what is that? I'm trying to figure out where that is. I don't know. The sign behind them says, "These clever strike slogans don't write themselves." That's great.
Well, are the signs? Wait, there's a couple things. For one, are these like the signs that everyone in the country is using, or maybe is a particular state using these signs, or like their shirts saying West Coast?
Right. So Writers Guild of America West. So they have like different regions. So this is the West. In the article we read quotes from people who are in the East, but the West ones, actually it's a very nice building down there, down by the original farmers market in the Grove down in LA. It's right catty corner to that. But yes, so they've got their t-shirts. They are part of the Writers Guild and they're striking.
Yeah, and I saw this super chat from Clifford. Thanks, Clifford. This picture screams extreme situations require extreme measures.
Yeah,
that is great. That is, oh my God, we gotta screenshot now. Oh my God, dude, imagine that's what we gotta do. We gotta post this picture. Extreme situations. Wait, I'm posting that right now.
That's great.
You gotta post that too. Oh, that's great. Shout out to Clifford for that. That's brilliant. Extreme situations require extreme measures. I'm gonna.
I got that screenshot.
You got that. You got to put that up. Put that up.
Yeah.
Put that up, and everyone gotta retweet that. Extreme situations require extreme measures. Oh my god, that's brilliant.
I'll tag you in that.
I'll tag it. Shout out to Clifford for that. Shout out to Clifford. That was brilliant. Brilliant. I thought the strike first. Why isn't it not letting me tag? I thought the strike first was clever, but this is that was a good one. That was a good one. Oh, whew. Clifford, you got us there. You got us there. Extreme situations require extreme measures. Hashtag strike. Hashtag strike first. Hashtag strike hard. Oh my god. That's great. That is great. So funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm posting that right now.
Yeah.
You guys are following our Twitter.
Yeah, follow us, retweet it. That is great. Oh my god. I'm gonna put a little shout out to Clifford.
Yes.
Shout out to Clifford. Shout out to Clifford for the slogan. Gotta give some credit to Clifford for the slogan. There we go. There we go. Oh wait, did I send it? Did I do that? Did I do it? I'm trying to see. Yep, it's up. I hope Thomas sees that. Oh god.
I just tweeted. Yeah. So I tagged him.
That's great. Oh, that is brilliant. Whew. Okay. Did anyone else post anything? any other things we gotta look out for? Any other people going on strike? Or are we good?
Wow, Drew. This is incredible. Well, it's kind of fun because we're sort of participating in this and we're learning about what's going on with the writers' strike, and maybe all this awareness can help bring the strike to a close even sooner.
Yes. And if not, then Terry Silver will come to your door, Sony. I wouldn't want to be on Terry Silver's bad side. I mean, if he wants something, I would. Oh, Danadu was on strike. I did see that. Danadu, who plays a Noosh, which I mean, he's not reoccurring actor on the show, so that does make sense. But yes, that's a good one. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
So, well, Ken, I think we covered it all. What do you think?
I think we did a lot today. So yeah, if anyone has questions, I guess leave a comment below this video. I know we take a look at the comments. Drew, I assume as long as this keeps going, we'll probably have to revisit this periodically and keep talking about it.
Yeah.
But my hope is that, like, for me and everyone watching, is that hopefully we got the facts out there and you're able to kind of come to your own conclusions about what's going on. We got Hayden Schlossberg on here to talk about what his point of view and his perspective and his guarantee that no matter what, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Ken, I think we just got an idea for your next live stream, for your next KenCast.
Oh, dude, that would be great. Here's the thing. I know that like everyone has scheduled times for the strike, but if there are like actors or writers associated with Cobra Kai that are picketing at a certain place, because LA is kind of a big place, at certain studios, I mean, yeah, I'll go down and talk to them live at the strike. Easy. So if anyone knows anyone, or if you're watching right now, if you're a writer on Cobra Kai, you're watching right now, and you want me to go talk to you guys on the picket lines, I am happy to do that. I will make that into a live stream, and yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's like, imagine like, you're on you're you're protesting, yeah, a bunch of people protesting, and then you have Sony. So a representative from Sony comes out. It's like, guys, you guys got to get off our property. We're not doing this right now. And then this guy comes down and says, I think you're gonna give us a fair deal. If you don't give us a fair deal, I'm gonna show you pain until you give us our money.
I do not think you want Thomas Ian Griffith on a picket line. You do not.
No.
And so if the studios know it's good for them, they'll come to a deal quickly.
If you know what's good for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's too funny. That's too funny. Oh man. That's great. Okay. Well, Ken, that was a great stream. Everyone, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, we will be back. We will be talking about the news once we get more. We're sure. I mean, it's been less than a week, and already we've been able to do 2 streams with a lot of info, a lot more to come. And we're ready to we're on it. We're on it. We're ready to strike. And if we're gonna strike, we're gonna strike first and strike hard.
Yeah.
So anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Just that, Drew, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I love your perspective. I love your energy, and I love everyone who's been watching either from my channel or Drew's channel. It's great to see you guys. And that's what gives me the juice to keep doing these live streams, is I love talking with everyone, with all your viewers. So.
Yes. Ken, so great to have you here. I do have to pull up this comment. Isaac Robertson says, guys, I got booked to be an extra in season 6. We were filming Monday. I got casted as a high school student. Now,
congratulations.
Congratulations. If that, I know some people on the internet make up stuff, but I don't see why you would make that up. Maybe you just want us to shout you out. Maybe it's true. But if it is true, I do feel like there will be high school students in season 6.
Yes.
Monday is a day of filming.
Yep.
So far the evidence is lining up.
Right. And Monday is May 8th. And I know that there was a casting notice for shooting something on May 8th.
Oh, yes.
So
there was that.
So yeah, that's well, that's great, Isaac. And if you can keep us posted.
Isaac, congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. If he says he's serious, that's awesome. That's so cool.
That's great. Have a great time. That'll be an amazing experience. And if you can, keep us updated on how it's going.
Yeah, he said he'll show us the email. That's all right. That's I'm sure that's your thing. But yeah, definitely let us know how it goes. Obviously, without giving anything away, and that's amazing. Have fun. And thank you for being on here. Oh my God, we got a Cobra Kai extra on here. And
that's amazing.
Cool.
Isaac. We'll have to watch for Isaac.
Isaac Robertson. We'll keep an eye for you. So thank you guys in the chat. Thank you, Ken, for joining. Can't wait for the next one. And make sure to subscribe to the Cobra Kai Kid and to Ken Cole. We will be giving you lots of more content to come. And Martin just wants to say, Cobra Kai never dies.
Never dies. That's great.
Bye, guys.
See ya.